In the early 20th century, the demand for intimidation and murder by the national syndicate led a group of gangsters to innovate a particularly American solution. Applying traditional business practices and principles to murder and other violence, they gave killing and extortion a professional veneer. They even had their own sinister terminology. An assignment to murder was a contract. A killing was a hit. The victim was a bum or a mark. And their organization was Murder Incorporated. It is commonly believed that the predecessor to Murder Incorporated was a gang put together by Jewish American mobsters Meyer Lansky and Benjamin Bugsy Siegel in the early 1920s. After the assassination of U.S. Mafia boss Salvatore Maranzano and other so-called Mustache Petes, Sicilian gangsters who had been unwilling to work with non-Sicilians, Sicilian mafioso Charles Lucky Luciano created the so-called Commission, a body meant to organize criminal enterprises along less parochial and more profitable lines. Luciano began to closely cooperate with Lansky and other Jewish mobsters, establishing a multi-ethnic alliance that would eventually be deemed the National Crime Syndicate. These opportunities led Lansky and Siegel to set up a murder-for-hire business in the New York area. As the demand for contracts expanded, Lansky and Siegel disbanded their gang and, in cooperation with Italian mobsters, helped form a larger organization that would have national reach. The new organization, Murder Incorporated, was largely headed by mob boss Louis Lepsky Buchalter and Mangano family underboss Albert Anastasia, dubbed by the media the Lord High Executioner. Based in part in Rosie Midnight Rose Gold's candy store at the corner of Saratoga and Livonia Avenue in Brooklyn, it had members from Buchalter's gang, as well as another gang of enforcers from Brownsville, Brooklyn, led by Martin Bugsy Goldstein and Abe Kid Twist Rells. Buchalter, and occasionally Joe Adonis, would give the outfit its orders from the board of directors of the syndicate. Its services were available to any syndicate member anywhere in the country. Siegel would be one of its leading hitmen. Other members were Italian and Jewish gangsters from the gangs of the Lower East Side and the Brooklyn neighborhoods of Brownsville, East New York, and Ocean Hill. The killers were paid a regular salary as a retainer, as well as an average fee of $1,000 to $5,000 per killing. Their families also received monetary benefits. Most members of Murder Incorporated were themselves syndicate members or persons otherwise associated with criminal activities who were killed for business reasons. On May 11, 1937, George Rudnick, a loan shark, was hacked to death based on the suspicion he was an informant. On September 30, 1935, Joseph Amberg, a New York mobster who, with his brothers Hyman and Lewis, was involved in labor racketeering and other criminal activities and, as such, competed with Buchalter, was murdered alongside associate Morris Kessler. The pair were ambushed in a Brownsville, Brooklyn auto repair garage and, after being ordered to line up against the wall, were gunned down. Their most well-known victim was Dutch Schultz, who had put a hit on DA Thomas Dewey, who was trying to put the mob out of business. The syndicate board, fearing that assassinating Dewey would incite public outrage and lead to an even greater campaign to shut down the rackets, had forbidden any such action. Schultz vowed to ignore the board's decision, and so the board decided they needed to kill Schultz before he killed Dewey. Hitmen Mendy Weiss and Charles Workman were given the assignment to kill Schultz. On October 24, 1935, they tracked down Schultz and his associates, Otto Berman, Abe Landau, and Lulu Rosencrantz, and shot them at the Palace Chop House in Newark, New Jersey. Berman, Landau, and Rosencrantz died almost immediately, while Schultz clung to life until the following day. In total, Murder Incorporated was believed to be responsible for between 400 and 1,000 contract killings. Beginning in 1940, a series of former members of the organization began cooperating with authorities. In January 1940, professional criminal and police informer Harry Rudolph, being held as a material witness in the murder of a minor gangster, began talking with Brooklyn District Attorney William O'Dwyer. Rudolph's testimony led to first-degree murder indictments against Abe Relis, Martin Goldstein, and Anthony Maffitor. When Maffitor learned that Rudolph had been offered a $5,000 bribe to clear Relis and Goldstein, he decided to turn state's evidence. Maffitor admitted to being the driver in 6 gangland murders and, in addition, convinced Abraham Levine to talk.